Hey, what's up? Welcome to FreesTYLERs, the greatest podcast in the history of mankind, ran by a 15-year-old kid. My name is Tyler Cooke. Today I'm joined with the current voice of Donald Duck, Daniel Ross. How are you doing?
Hello, or should I say, hello? Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
How does it feel to get to voice such an iconic character?
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. A huge responsibility for me and one that I've welcomed. But Donald Duck has always been one of my favorite characters of all time. I grew up doing impressions of the character with my mom, and to pursue voiceover later in life and to stumble across this opportunity to be in the right place at the right time, basically, was just amazing. And my life was changed. So it's been the honor of a lifetime, and I'm glad to be here and happy to make the world smile a little bit.
How did you first get the part of Donald Duck?
Well, I auditioned. My agent sent me a read for Donald, and it was for this new show called Mickey and the Roadster Racers. And I was very excited because obviously I have a big connection to Donald, and I did my best. I put it out into the universe, and later on I got a call back, and then I got called back again, and I got called back again. And then they said, hey, you got it. And that was a huge moment for me in my career and in my life, just in general.
How long have you been a voice actor for?
I kind of always say that I've been a voice actor for my entire life, because I used to get in so much trouble as a kid. I would impersonate, cartoon characters, my teachers. I'd do prank phone calls, all that kind of stuff. And then as I, grew up and I was pursuing the performing arts, I was doing a musical theater degree in college. I wanted to get into film. I just kind of stumbled into it and realized, hey, voice acting is a job. Somebody can have a job and be a voice actor. Why not me? Why not me? So I started pursuing voiceover, I would say probably like around 2000, like the early 2000s. And then I took a serious jab at it when I moved out here to Los Angeles in 2014, and have been a voice actor ever since. And I love it.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory while working on the show so far?
On Mickey and the Roadster Racers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, gosh. So there was okay, I'll give you this story. The wonderful and late Russi Taylor, who was the voice of Minnie Mouse. The last time I saw her, we were passing each other in the studio, and she sees me and she goes, "Oh, Daniel, do the voice, honey." She sounded like Minnie Mouse when she would talk, and she was amazing and wonderful and sweet. And I'm like, "What voice?" And she goes, "Oh, do the voice, honey." So I started talking like Donald, and she started talking like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, because she was the voice of the nephews for decades. And we had a whole conversation, Uncle Donald and the nephews. And as a voice actor from somebody that I idolized, that was such a gift that she gave me, and is one of my fondest memories. It's bittersweet because, again, it was the last time I ever saw her before she unfortunately passed away. But yeah, that was something that I'll cherish and take with me forever.
Yeah. What's the weirdest question that you've ever been asked since working at Disney?
Probably this one. No, the weirdest question? I don't know that there's any specific question, but I will say that there are fans who know absolutely everything about the comics featuring Donald, and the cartoons, and I try to be as apprised as I can to really understand the rich history of the character and to bring that to current times. But yeah, I would say the fans who know more than I do and ask me very specific questions that I can't answer, I always find those to be very interesting, because I learned something new. But I just, there's a part of me that's like, oh man, I wish I knew the answer to that.
What's your favorite episode that you've worked on so far from Mickey and the Roadster Racers?
From Mickey and the Roadster Racers, there was an episode, I think it was called Donald's Garage, where Donald takes charge of there's a car repair and Donald takes charge, but he ends up alienating his friends because he's being too bossy. And that particular episode was a real challenge for me vocally, because there was a lot of lines, there was a lot of physical humor and comedy, and that tires the mechanism out. Donald Duck, there's a term called buccal speech. So the air is that there's a pocket of air in my cheek that I make the sound with. And just like exercising or doing anything repetitively, sometimes it can get sore or, you can tire out. And I absolutely tired myself out doing that episode. But the finished product was so much fun, and I enjoyed it. And it was a real moment for Donald to flex some emotion, and for me to be able to fully embody that character doing those things. And I really enjoyed that.
What are some of the other character voices that you do?
Well, I do a lot of different character voices. I'm often used as a utility player on shows, meaning they'll give me a character to do and then lots of little characters, because I have such a wide range of what I do. But some of the characters that people know me from, I would say, would be Starscream from Transformers the game. Decepticons, this is Starscream. Make for the rendezvous point. The All-Spark will soon be ours. And then, of course, everybody's favorite cereal mascot, Lucky the Leprechaun. They're magically delicious. Oh no, they're after me, Lucky Charms. So I would say those are probably the big ones that people remember me by. But I've worked on lots of different shows, and I'm proud of all my children.
What's the easiest character voice for you to go in and out of?
This one right here. This one, the one I'm speaking with. Because I don't have to do anything. It's my voice. I tend to do, like, if I do a younger character, like I'll get up into this range, like right here, kind of like an upper throat nasal character. That's really easy for me to get in and out of, and to augment, and then I come back to my normal placement. I also tend to do a lot of gravelly characters like this. Like I played the truck driver on The Loud House, speed limit enforced by aircraft. Dang it! So I get into those characters a lot. But yeah, anytime I can do something that sounds fundamentally different from who I normally sound like is always fun for me.
What was life like for you growing up?
Life was interesting. I had I would say a troubled childhood. A series of unfortunate events that I persevered and overcame. And, for me, it was all about pursuing the things that I was passionate about. So as soon as I was free of school and on my own, I pursued acting full time, between musical theater. That was my initial degree in college before I dropped out and pursued film. And then I was, an extra on films or a stand-in in different films. I worked on shows like The Wire and movies like Ladder 49 and Something the Lord Made. And then I started producing my own films with my buddy. We started with a movie called Ninjas vs. Zombies. And after a whole series of films that I produced, I just kind of meandered and said, hey, I'm going to do voiceover. So here we are. That's my life story, and I'm sticking to it.
What are some of your favorite lines that you've said?
Oh, well, I mean, Donald's one of my favorites, of course, is, the classic. And then, of course, that's definitely a favorite. Lucky the Leprechaun, he has a few things that he says regularly, and I like those. They're magically delicious. That's a standard. For Starscream, it's, retreat. He likes to retreat very often. Retreat!
Are there any things that you have to do in order to prepare for the voices?
Yes, and it really depends on the voice. So depending on the medium that I'm working with, if it's a cartoon, like an animated cartoon, I want my energy to be up there. I need to be able to communicate that I'm an energetic individual and a fully embodied character. So I might jog in place. I might, shake myself out to get that energy going. If it's a video game that requires, slow, dramatic moments, I might meditate beforehand. I might come to a calm place. I might, light my booth a certain way, or set the LED lights to be like red or blue to kind of get me in the headspace that I need to be. If it's a voice that's particularly challenging, I'll do some vocal warm-ups. I'll do scales. I'll do something called straw phonetics, where you blow out of a small straw that helps reinforce the muscles in your mouth and throat. Stay hydrated, drink lots of tea, that kind of stuff.
What are some things that you enjoy about either the character or just the voice of Donald Duck?
I would say one of the things that I really enjoy the most is getting to know the fans. The interesting thing about Donald is this year in June, he's going to be 87 years young. He's been around for so long. My parents grew up with Donald Duck. My grandparents knew about Donald Duck. Even my great-grandparents knew who Donald Duck was. So you have this incredible multi-generational character that has had such an impact on the culture of our society and those fond memories that we have as kids growing up that we hold on to, our innocence. So I love the fact that, there are fans who love the character and who keep him alive, and who love, his tantrums and the fact that he is a very genuine and warm and loving individual. But he's like the rest of us. He has a varied spectrum of emotions. And so I would say, to condense all of that, I really love the fans, the Disney fans. They really make the magic come true. And to be a small part of that and to, again, make people smile is one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given.
How do you give the voice your own personal style while remaining faithful to the original?
So in a case like Donald Duck, I don't have much leeway in that. The only thing that I can do is make concise choices when it comes to, the that I make or what I do. But realistically, when you watch my show, you're not watching to say, what does Daniel do with this character? You're watching because Donald Duck's on there. You expect it to be Donald Duck. So there's not much that I really do to put my stamp on it. But I will say there's a difference between what I'm doing and what Clarence Nash, the original voice of Donald Duck, did back in 1934. His shtick was, what'd he say? What'd he say? He was unintelligible. So Clarence, as Donald Duck, a little bit less intelligible, whereas for me, they asked me, hey, we'd like for you to be able to enunciate a little bit clearer, and we want Donald to be in a slightly higher pitch for the younger audience. So Donald is a little bit different than the one you did before. So there's a little bit of a difference. Would I say that I'm putting my stamp on it? I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be as faithful to the character as I possibly can.
Are there anything that you just felt like you shouldn't change in regards to prior voice actors?
Oh, absolutely. You want to honor everything that's come before you. So, the work of Clarence Nash, the work of Tony Anselmo, those are precious to me. And, I feel like I'm doing my job if people can watch the episodes that I voice and not hear me. They hear Donald. If they do that, then I feel like I've done a good job.
What do you think Donald's default mood is, and what helps you transition in between each mood swing?
That's a good question. I think Donald's center is that he wants things to go his way. So if things are going his way, then he is pleased as a pickle. And if things aren't going his way, well, then there's a journey of emotions there. In terms of switching between emotions, I don't find that that's particularly difficult. I think that the precedent has been laid out for me to be able to follow from both Clarence and Tony in terms of how the character transitions between emotions. So I don't really fumble or think too much about that. I just kind of follow the precedent and what sounds right for Donald.
I think that's about all I have for you today.
You think, or you sure?
I think.
Well, Tyler, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I wish it the best of success. All your listeners out there, if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me across everything under @actor Daniel Ross. My website is actordanielross.com. If you'd like for me to sign anything for you, I can do autographs through my website. If you'd like to learn about voiceover, I offer one-on-one coaching. You can book me through my website. And check out my TikTok. It's a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun interacting with fans and going live and having one-on-one conversations. It's a lot of fun.
I'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Tyler.
Bye.